Welcome. This is the newspaper review right here on TAP TV, and we are happy to have you join us as we go through newspaper headlines across newspapers around Nigeria. And to do these headlines with me is Victor Sioko. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Good to have you as always.
Thank you.
And it's a Friday. Thank God it's Friday. Hope you have plans for the weekend.
Do I have plans? Do I have plans? I don't have plans. I'll just live my life the way I see it.
All right. I too. I'm just going to take it as the days come. I plan to rest, but I suspect that that's not going to be very possible. All right. Today is Friday, the 23rd day in the month of June, 2023. And a lot has happened within the last 24 hours. Let's begin to see what those headlines look like on the newspaper front pages. And we'll begin with this day newspaper for today, the 23rd day in the month of June. My name is William Sabule, and the headlines here on this day newspaper reads, Federal government states get higher allocation as FAC disburses 786.16 billion naira May revenue. FIRS targets 40 million naira traders. Let me take that again. FIRS targets 40 million traders in fresh initiative to improve VAT remittance by informal sector. All right, that story you find on page 5 of this day newspaper. We move on to other headlines still on this day. We see here, shelf electricity tariff hike for collective safety. NLC tells federal government. Details you find on page 6 of this day newspaper. And to the main headline, it says, Tinubu in Paris, ignoring Nigeria will be perilous to the universe. Wow, such a bold statement. But then, very, very strong one coming from our president there. Let me take it again. It says, Tinubu in Paris, ignoring Nigeria will be perilous to the universe. Joins world leaders to tackle debt, poverty issues. Says he's prepared for business, ready for investors to come to Nigeria. Meets with Afrexim Bank, EBRD president. At meeting with Shetima, Gates Foundation votes $7 billion interventions for Africa in next 4 years. That's all the headline will be taken on this day newspaper. So do well to grab a copy of that paper to read details. Let's go over to the analysis of these headlines. Victor, Tinubu in Paris, he's making such bold statements about Nigeria in the interest of wooing willing investors to the country. What do you think about this trip to Paris so far?
Yeah, I was so impressed with that statement. It shows that the president is really the #1 salesman of the country.
Yeah.
Because you cannot take that away. He's the face of the country. So him going down to France to make these bold statements means a lot. And Alake came out to say, that's his senior advisor in communications. Yes, came out to say that many world leaders couldn't just wait to meet Tinubu in France. Okay, so that tells you that there is so much enthusiasm from the world leaders. Okay, and yes, Macron over the years has also shown, that's the Prime Minister of the President of France, has shown so much, will I say, strong relationships, strong ties with Nigeria. I remember when he came back in the days before, I think that was the period when Mark Zuckerberg came, when he visited the shrine, and we were even made to know that he has worked in Nigeria beforehand, before becoming the president of France, and the ties are looking so good. Because if you even check, you find out that before Tinubu became president, he was also visiting France. He was in quote having his rest in France, and some other information also came out that he did not participate in one of the forum that happened. That he sent his ambassador. Well, it is well. But going into details, you find out that we have a lot to do with France. France in Africa trades a lot, okay? And yes, one might say because of they were like they had a spell back in those days in West Africa. Okay, they colonized many of the countries in West Africa. In fact, it should be about 70% of the countries in West Africa. And somehow they did not get their hold in Nigeria. The British were so dominant here, But if you also check from their trade, you find out that they've been trading with countries that they colonized. Okay, be it Tunisia, be it Morocco, be it Algeria, be it Ivory Coast. A whole lot of trade is happening. Okay, look at Ivory Coast. You find out that their cocoa goes to France. Okay, the chocolate you get out there goes to France.
Yeah.
And it's also unfortunate that like in Nigeria, what do we even sell to them? We sell paper, we sell pulp, we sell ceramic and all that. But do you know that France imports their cement? And we have all these things. We have limestone in in zillion quantity, as in it's plenty. We cannot even harvest all the limestone we have in this country within the next 100 years. So we need to create new frontiers. We need to create more opportunities so that these guys will come to Nigeria and buy off our stores. Yeah. How about not just even buying off physical stores or minerals? How about in terms of selling intelligence to them? Sure. How about IT collaboration, information technology collaboration, just like what is happening in Ghana. Ghana is having about 18 to 20% contribution of IT contribution to their GDP. So these are new frontiers we should look out for. The new president is here, and I'm very, very sure that with the signs that we have seen so far, I'm confident that a whole lot of relationship will be built between countries of nations, as in top countries, that we will at the end of the day benefit. Not that they'll just be more like it has to be the symbiotic and not parasitic, as in we need to gain from these countries. And I pray, and I'm very confident that going forward frontiers will be broken.
Interesting. We see that the president is doing a lot to get the ball rolling for the country. Since he got into office, a lot of people from different cultures have gone ahead to mark or tick the good boxes of the president, that he's been doing well. And this meeting in France has also shown another side of the president in marketing our country. He's gone out there to ensure that he moves as many investors as possible back into the economy of our country, because that's what we need at this time. Nigeria has lost its face and glory in the world's arena for quite a while now. And if the president continues on this path, I'm sure we're going to gain back that strong elephant or lion of Africa that we once held. All right, let's move on to other stories that we have here on other newspapers. And this time we're going to the Nigerian Tribune. And on Nigerian Tribune, we have a headline here: polio immunization, Bill Gates commits $7 billion at meeting with Shetima governors. All right, we go on to this other headline too. It says PEPC, INEC deleted FCT presidential election results on beavers, witness alleges. That story you find on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. A lot coming out of the presidential tribunal in Abuja. Many things happening. Now we see this one about some witness alleging that results from the beavers connected to the FCT was deleted. Very, very funny story. But get details of that story on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. We move on to the main headline on the Nigerian Tribune here. It says, NLC kicks against electricity tariff hike. Says, planned hike insensitive. Carlos. All right. We'll also go over to this headline. It says, Oyo lawmakers worry over surge in killings to convene security summit. Page 29 is where you get details of that story. No approval for salary increase for political office holders, Presidency says. You see that story on page 2 of Nigerian Tribune. And lastly, okay, we'll take these two headlines here. It says, 10th NAS, North Central, South lawmakers for majority leader. Juicy committees. Southwest may clinch deputy house leader. Details of that is on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. And I'll take this very short story here. It says, missing Titanic submersible, crew confirmed dead after catastrophic implosion. Missing Titanic submersible, crew confirmed dead after catastrophic implosion. Details is on page 27 of the Nigerian Tribune. Well, I wanted us to talk about the NLC against electricity tariff, but I cannot help but go to the missing Titanic submersible. This story has been trending since Sunday when news broke that the crew that went down to, like more like for a tour around the, Titanic ship that sank many years ago has suddenly lost contact with the people on the shore, and from then on there's been desperate search for the 5-man crew on that submersible. But unfortunately, as of yesterday, it was announced that by yesterday they would have been dead due to loss of oxygen in the submersible, or the fact that it may have imploded. Can we just go over that story, since that's been on the news for a while now?
Yeah, my heart goes out to them and their families, the 5 explorers and their families out there. I know a whole lot of news has been made out of this, but I also would not want this news of 5 persons. I understand there's human life has been lost, but I also don't want it to overshadow some other news. Okay, not on the mainstream, because this is the US. Okay, this is the US news, and what the US spends, it needs to sell. But let's not also forget that many persons died in Jaws recently. We have 31 persons that died in China. Okay, Kogi State, name it. Okay, we found here in Port Harcourt a former, is it a PA to
he was the protocol officer to the then chief of staff.
Yes.
Wike's administration.
Yes, he was found dead. He was kidnapped, right? Yes. And now found dead in the forest in Emoha. Emoha is just very close. Very close to us. Yeah. So a whole lot of things are happening, and our hearts go out to those to their families. Okay. Yeah. Now to the news. It is like I said, it is big news now. Okay. 5 persons lost their lives while exploring. I had a little bit of argument. Well, I call it argument with Natasha over the phone on WhatsApp, because she posted something on her platform, and I responded about how careless, how foolish would they be, and all that. I told her, see, babe, for you to discover, you must explore. Okay? And see, these scientists, a proper scientist will not see hell and be going close to hell. Are you getting that? Yes, they were warned. Mind you, they were warned, yes, in 2018. And I bet you there is no how in 2018 for a company like that. Ocean Gate has a very high profile out there. So you can't tell me that they've not been modifying things that were wrong. One of their scientists, yes, also complained, even registered it in court that same 2018. That they need to work on their materials. Okay, now what happened? 5 of them, including the CEO.
That's to tell you the confidence he
had confidence, bro,
on that submersible.
Yes,
he had so much confidence enough to get on board with the other explorers, and then they went down there. Unfortunately, this has happened. So, well, I'm sure they believed in all they had. Yeah.
So you I think 3,800 meters, that was the depth they were heading to. Mind you, they went to explore the Titanic wreckage that is just on the ocean floor. And even some persons were like, why would you go down there? Why would you go down there? See, the director of Titanic, the man that directed the Titanic movie, had already done 33 trips. 33 trips to that wreckage. 33 times. So, see, accidents happened, and it does happen. So, what do they do in accidents like this? You learn, you gather data, and you learn and you progress. If you don't make these steps, you will not learn sometimes. Look at what also happened during in space travels. People die. The remote operated vehicles can sometimes explode. But what do? You collect the data and you make it better next time, and you go better. Now, if you can remember back in the days, okay, look at what happened during the Titanic. I think 1918 or 1908,
Yeah.
thereabout, that it happened. Since then, what did they learn from the Titanic? Mind you, they had about 1,500 passengers. It was more like the biggest ship
at
that time. But now you have ships that can house that can house up to 10,000 persons
at once.
Once.
Yeah, true.
Do you get? So science will not stop because of this. Okay, like I was telling Natasha, it has happened. When that accident happened, lessons were learned. Back in those days, they did not have enough lifeboats. Now you have them many. In fact, nowadays it's more like one lifeboat to one person.
And the lifeboats are mostly automatically controlled.
Oh,
GPS. All of that to find their way back to the shore. So.
During when the Titanic accident happened, they got a radio. One person was manning the radio. Mind you, right now you have it everywhere. Everywhere is screens everywhere showing you how real time data from your environment. So the eyes,
the farther you can see ships around you.
Yes,
no matter how far they
are. So they saw, come on. Even before they made this trip, they were watching the weather, as in they studied the weather. Okay, mind you, the Titanic is in Canada, in Newfoundland. That place is so cold. Okay, they found out, they've done their necessary research before plunging down the ocean. Okay, going back to what happened during the Titanic, when they saw when they radioed that they saw an iceberg that was just so dangerous, they radioed the radio man, and due to he was also answering calls from passengers, okay, he couldn't concentrate. Before you know it, that accident happened, and they've learnt their lessons. Abule, a whole lot of sophisticated equipment are now in ships. Okay, so this time around, I know that Ocean Gate, they come out of this. They will come out, and some persons have been lashing them. Say, after all, why would he be charging $250,000 per seat? My friend, it is not cheap. This is not Nigeria. I know we are going through a lot here. 250. See, these are things that people, if you have the money, that is how you want to experience life. Yeah. So leave people with what they want to use their money for. Okay.
And for the billionaire guy to the other billionaire that died alongside the CEO of Ocean Gate to have gone down there with his 19-year-old son, you can imagine what they must have spoke about, some of their fantasies, some of the things they really want to explore, and they went down there. Unfortunately, this happened. It's an unfortunate situation, an unfortunate incident. I'm sure that they didn't plan, and they hope that they will go in there, come out, and then have a different experience or story to tell. But unfortunately, this has happened. Very, very sad, I feel, for them.
Then lastly, to Nigerians out there watching, for you to discover, you need to be bold. These guys were bold enough to make this trip, and at the end of the day, you and I will learn from this exploration.
Sure. All right, thank you very much, Victor. We're going to take a short break now. Thank you for staying with us up to this time. But when we come back, we're going to go into our last paper for the day. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey there. Are you looking to record your videos, do your voiceovers, and take your professional pictures? Look no further. With our state-of-the-art newsroom, photography, kitchen for our food content creators, and exclusive children's studio, we certainly can deliver the best studio experience. Our carefully designed studio space can bring your diverse creative content ideas to life. We aim to consistently serve value to our customers far and wide. Come, let Tharv Media give life to your dreams. Tharv Media, a slice of infotainment.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying on and watching up to this time. All right, we're going to get into our last paper for today. If you're just joining us, do well to subscribe so that you don't miss out all the other parts of the program like you've done already next time. So go ahead and subscribe, turn on your notification so that you get notified when next we post, episodes of this program. All right, let's see what the paper headlines on Vanguard newspaper looks like for today. And we see here on Vanguard, presidential poll, INEC wiped off results in Beavers. Forensic expert tells court. All right, dollar video, Kano Anti-Graft Agency boss vows to reopen Ganduje's case. All right, It looks like they are out for these governors. Gandhi's dollar video that is from way back is back.
He's back again.
He's back
Immunity has left him.
So they are back for him.
Yeah.
How dare you? Back in the days, we're back for you. You must explain. All right, find details of that story on page 9 of the Vanguard newspaper. We also see here, Dr. C buried in country home again in Bode. Yes, and that story is on page 7. Yes, he has done his part.
Yeah,
and this is goodbye.
But the way he died, I heard the news today. I've not really fully confirmed the full details, but I learned that he died as a result of an accident while using his treadmill. While using his treadmill, and I was super shocked. How can Dr. C go that way? How can he go that way? So sad, man. At 71, treadmill, killing a whole Dr. C. Man, that's so sad. Man. That's to tell you this life, there's nothing in this life. Yeah. Who will believe that, or who will tell him that a treadmill, he will fall off a treadmill and that will be the end of his life?
Yeah. It's so sad. But well, he has really lived a life of impact.
Sure. No.
That's what we preach every day. That
can he be forgotten? In Nigeria,
it will be really difficult.
Oh my
History
God.
will always, go back to remember Dr. C for all his contributions to nations building, and that's one thing we must take note of. Touch life, so that when you leave the stage, your name will forever be loud. All right, let's go on to other headlines still on Vanguard newspaper. We see here, NLC, TUC, CSOs rise against hike in electricity tariff. Tariff hike, insensitive, callous. NLC, increased height of insensitivity to suffering masses. TUC, action unfair, unjustifiable. CSOs, report Nigeria needs $34.5 billion investment to provide electricity access by 2030. You find details on page 27 of the Vanguard newspaper. And the full details of all the headlines I just read to you is on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper. Moving on to other headlines here, we see Presidency denies approving salary increase for political office holders. Judiciary. Page 9 is where details of that story is. Bandits kill 3 abduct farmers, travelers in Birnin Gwari. Details on page 4 of the Vanguard newspaper. And lastly, I'll take this one. It says here, Eid al-Kabir, Kano declares 1 week break for schools. Page 10 is where you get details of that story. I chuckled a bit because 1 week break to celebrate Salah. Very interesting one coming from the Kano State governor. Man, that guy has been doing wonders. I say it in quote, wonders, because he's been on the news for all the wrongest reasons.
I've seen it. Wow.
We are commending the president for the good work so far. Other governors are picking up slowly and, trying to learn the territory before they begin to fire shots. This guy came in blazing, doing things. Well, we hope that this 1 week people will use it very well. 1 week holiday for schools in Kano State. Let's go to the main headline, that's talking about the rise in the price of electricity tariff. That has really brought a lot of Nigerians to a place of wonder, like, what's going on? Can we ever breathe? The president said, let the poor breathe. Is he allowing us to breathe, or he wants to suffocate us to death with all this price hike in petrol? Now electricity tariff beginning from 1st of July. My neighbor the other day, I was speaking to him and he said he has gone to buy 50,000 naira worth of electricity tariff, what are they calling it? Units. So that before he would jump on the new tariff, he would have been able to catch some breath. I'm like, sir.
He tried saying get the money to go buy self.
200K. It's really disturbing news, but I guess that's going to happen. But question is this going to improve the quality of power supply within the next few months, or they're just doing this to balance maybe something that we're not aware of? What's your take, Story?
Is it just about improving? Right now, some persons now, there is light, but you cannot buy it again. Is that the best way around this? Are we going to get a price that will now be equating to the price of fuel? All of them now are the same. You don't even know which one to choose anymore. Usually, our electricity should be cheaper, as in I mean the ones sourced outside the generators should be a whole lot cheaper than generators. But if you also take a look at it, you find out that the new government has come to remove everything subsidy. Mind you, even though that the discos and their codes have been privatized, our electricity sector has been privatized. That did not also stop subsidies, because the government has been spending 50 billion monthly to subsidize electricity for all of us. I know many of us don't know that, but yes, it's really happening. So what do we even really need? For me, I think if it's to remove everything subsidy, especially when they cannot be accounted for, because yes, there are still stories that this 50 billion is not being accounted for. So for me, if it means removing it, that means we are talking about 1.2 trillion naira. Am I right? I'm right now. Abi? Yes. 1.2, that's a whole lot of money.
That's a lot.
So imagine taking off 1.2 trillion naira and put it inside education or health sector. It will go a long way. So look at it. A private investor comes in to invest. The person needs to make money. Now, you've removed the subsidy on fuel. You've removed the subsidy on FX. And mind you, their monies, they repatriate their monies via FX. So in 2015, when they went into agreement with Nigeria or with the stakeholders, they were being given forex, especially USD, in a subsidized manner, 195 to $1 in 2015. As at 2021, they adjusted it to 441. That's by CBN rates. They adjusted it to 441 so that they can cushion the effect of the forex quagmire that has been happening in Nigeria. And now, the forex subsidy has been released. So, what does that mean? It means that their running cost has increased. They are no longer making profit, or even if they are not making profit, they are spending more. Yeah. So, what then happens? They need to increase the price. You cannot hold them off from increasing the price because forex has increased. So even this 40% that they are talking about, I don't know how sustainable it will be. Because if you even check the forex, find out that the forex has done almost 100%. So what are we talking about? There might also be an increment. And mind you, NERC, that's the National Electricity Regulatory Council, for every 6 months or thereabout, they check these prices so that at the end of the day, these investors, mind you, these are businessmen, so that they will not run away and say this business is killing them. So as it stands, Nigeria brace up from the 1st of July. Yeah, it might just happen.
It must happen. Yeah. And then whether the Labour Congress or the TUC try to kick against this, it is just plainly business, and these people must make profit out of their businesses. So whether they protest about it or whatever, this increment will take place. And so maybe, well, if the federal government begin to want to intervene, they might say, okay, let's not go all the way 40%. Let's start with 20, 25 or 30, but then the increment is going to happen. So just brace yourself for the new price in electricity tariff that you will have to pay beginning 1st of July 2023. All right, that's all the headline we'll be taking today. Thank you so much, Victor, for always coming through. Make sure you enjoy your weekend.
You too.
And same grace to our viewers. We want to thank you for watching, and I'm afraid this is where we're going to draw the curtain. Until next time, we'll come your way again. Make sure you stay safe, keep your eyes on the ground, and stay strong. Yes, the times are really tough.
Oh my God!
Of course, it's really so tough. But then I know we've been through this sort of thing before, and I'm sure you're going to survive this one again. So stay well, enjoy your weekend, spend more time with your family. Don't drive around. Don't say the fuel price is very high. It's very, very high. So we don't move around anymore. So my advice to you is enjoy, spend more time with family. All right. See you next time when I come on your screens again.